Inside the Vatican, two men stand face to face. The hall is silent. Guards lie unconscious on the marble floor. Only echoes remain. One of them is one of the most powerful men in Europe, a ruler, a manipulator, a Templar leader, a man who has spent his entire life climbing toward absolute power. His name is Rodrigo Borgia. The other man is something very different, a shadow moving through history, a ghost across rooftops, an assassin, a man who spent 20 years hunting the people who destroyed his family.
His name is Ezio Auditore da Firenze. Tonight, their war ends. Years of revenge, years of secrets, years of bloodshed will collide in a single moment. But this story did not begin in Rome. It began long before this night. Before the assassins, before the conspiracies, before the revenge. It began with a young man who had no idea how quickly his life was about to fall apart.
Florence was one of the greatest cities in the world, the heart of the Renaissance. Artists painted masterpieces inside quiet studios. Merchants traded silk, gold, and rare spices. Scholars debated ideas that would shape the future. Art filled its streets. Wealth flowed through its markets. Powerful families fought quietly for influence. Behind smiles and elegant clothing, dangerous political games were constantly unfolding. But for a young nobleman, life felt simple.
Ezio climbed rooftops for fun. He raced across terracotta tiles, laughing with his brother. He fought rivals in the streets. He chased romance in crowded plazas. Music echoed through the city at night. Wine flowed freely. Life felt endless. His family was respected across the city. His father, Giovanni Auditore, was a trusted banker, a man known for honesty, a man respected by nobles and merchants alike. To Ezio, the future seemed certain: adventure, family, freedom. But Florence was hiding a secret, and soon that secret would destroy everything.
One night, everything changed. Ezio returned home, expecting another peaceful evening, but the streets felt strange, too quiet, too tense. As he reached the house, he saw soldiers waiting. Torches flickered against the walls. Steel armor reflected the firelight. His father and his two brothers were arrested, dragged away without explanation, charged with treason. The accusations were sudden. No warning, no time to prepare. The trial was rushed, too rushed. Ezio searched desperately for evidence that could prove his father's innocence. He ran across the city, through dark streets, through silent courtyards. But the truth no longer mattered. The verdict had already been decided. This was never a trial. It was an execution.
The entire city gathered in the central square. Curiosity pulled people from every corner of Florence. Whispers filled the air. Rumors spread through the crowd. Ezio pushed through the people, desperate to reach the front, hoping for a miracle, hoping someone would stop this. But none came. 3 nooses hung from the gallows. His father, his brothers,
And standing nearby, watching calmly, was the man responsible, Uberto Alberti, a trusted friend of the family, a man who had shared their table, a man who had betrayed them. Moments later, the ropes tightened, the crowd gasped, and Ezio watched as his father and brothers were executed. 3 bodies swinging above the crowd, 3 lives ended in seconds. In that moment, his world collapsed. The carefree life of Florence was gone forever. Only anger remained.
Florence was no longer safe. The Auditore name had become a death sentence. Guards searched the streets. Friends disappeared. Trust vanished overnight. Ezio fled the city with his mother and sister. They traveled through the countryside, moving quietly, avoiding patrols. Their only refuge was a man living in the hills, Ezio's uncle, Mario Auditore. A soldier, a warrior, a man who had seen countless battles, and a man who knew the truth.
At his villa, Mario revealed a secret. Ezio's father had lived a double life. Giovanni Auditore was not just a banker, he was an assassin, a member of an ancient brotherhood, a secret order that had existed for centuries. Their mission was simple: protect human freedom, fight those who sought to control the world. Their enemies were the Templars, an order that believed peace could only exist through absolute control, power, order, obedience. The men responsible for the Auditore executions were part of that order. Ezio's tragedy was not random, it was part of a much larger war.
Mario began to train him: combat, stealth, discipline. Day after day, Ezio practiced with blades. He learned to strike quickly, to disappear before anyone noticed. He learned to use the hidden blade, a weapon carried by assassins for generations. He learned to move unseen through crowded cities, to listen, to wait, to strike at the perfect moment. Slowly, the reckless young nobleman began to disappear. In his place, a new figure emerged, calmer, stronger, more focused. But his path was still driven by one thing: revenge.
Years passed. Ezio traveled across Italy, Florence, Tuscany, San Gimignano, Venice. He hunted the men responsible for the conspiracy: powerful nobles, corrupt merchants, secret Templar agents. One by one, they fell. Some tried to escape, some begged for mercy, some fought to the end. But Ezio never stopped. Each victory brought him closer to the truth. But with each target, the conspiracy grew larger. This was never just about his family. The Templars were searching for something far more powerful, something ancient, something dangerous.
An artifact known as the Apple of Eden, a relic created by a civilization that existed long before humanity, a civilization far more advanced than anything the world had ever seen. The apple had the power to control minds, to bend entire populations to the will of one person. Armies could be commanded instantly. Cities could be controlled without resistance. In the wrong hands, it could reshape the world.
And the man searching for it was the same man Ezio had been hunting for years, Rodrigo Borgia, a powerful Templar leader, a master manipulator, a man who believed humanity needed control. His plan was simple: use the Apple of Eden to impose order on the world, a world without chaos, without rebellion, without freedom. The hunt had finally led Ezio to Rome. Back to the moment where this story began, inside the Vatican. The assassin and the Templar standing face to face. Years of anger collided in a single moment. Steel clashed inside the halls of power. Rodrigo fought with desperation. Ezio fought with the experience of 20 years. The battle was brutal, fast, unforgiving, and in the end, the assassin prevailed. Rodrigo Borgia lay defeated. The man responsible for destroying Ezio's family was finally at his mercy. But Ezio had changed. Instead of revenge, he chose something different. He let him live.
Beyond the battle, another secret awaited. Deep beneath the Vatican, Ezio discovered an ancient chamber, a vault built by the civilization that created the apple. Inside, he encountered something impossible, a message left for the future, a voice speaking across centuries, a warning about forces beyond human understanding. The story was far from over.
Assassin's Creed 2 is not simply a story about revenge. It is a story about transformation. Ezio Auditore da Firenze lost everything: his family, his home, his old life. But in that loss, he found purpose. He became something greater, an assassin, a guardian of freedom. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted.